Well, hi there. Welcome to my channel. Okay, so I've been wanting to make this video for a pretty long time. Hi, I'm Nora, and I live in Albuquerque, New Mexico, originally from Colorado 303. You probably don't care, or you probably do, and that's why you clicked on this video. I moved to New Mexico to further advance my acting and entrepreneur. Excuse me. I moved to New Mexico to further my acting experience. You see, Colorado, although it is beautiful and the economy is strong and beautiful and wonderful and my home, it's not a place for actors or filmmakers. Yes, there are a lot of industrial and commercial things happening there, and every 6 months or a year there are rumors about some big production coming in, or how they might be building a Netflix studio there or some other type of studio, and it never happens because there are a lack of opportunities for people there. Training is taken pretty seriously, so you'll have a lot of actors. I'm just going to talk about my experience as an actor who have had the opportunity to train amongst some really awesome teachers. Shout out Benji Studios in Denver. I had the opportunity to train under some awesome people, mostly Benji, and really create my community. And I got to just build my experience, eventually land my first 2 agents. One was in voiceover work, and the other one, which I'm still represented by, mostly commercials, print, industrials? I don't know if that's what it's called. But a lot of stuff. Not so much, God, who am I kidding? There's not a film or TV market. Yes, you'll have, you know, once in a while, some production comes through and they already have the lead actors and the crew that they brought in from LA or another market, and they're just kind of, you know, using Colorado as the ideal environment, I guess. And I think another reason why it's just not a big place for the industry is the lack of tax incentives and the lack of policies from the Colorado policy makers. They don't really care because they don't need to have productions coming in. I mean, Colorado has a really great economy, and a lot of it comes from the booming weed industry and the booming tech industry. I think right now it's like the #1 place for real estate, and that should say a lot. So I decided to move to New Mexico about 3 years ago, as I said, to further advance my acting career if I was gonna have a chance to actually do it. And to be honest, I am trying to stay away from LA and New York as much as I can. Look, it's a fun time. I have a lot of friends who call LA and New York home. Hey. And it's always been a really good time when I go visit, but that's it. I can't stand the traffic, how expensive it is. A lot of other political issues that I'm not gonna get into. It just doesn't seem like a place where I can keep myself grounded, if that makes sense. I decided that if I was gonna make it into a bigger market, I needed more experience, and I didn't want to put myself into a situation if I did move to LA where I was gonna absolutely hate it, because that happened once. I ended up running away from there in like a month and a half. Not very proud. There was also a guy situation I had inchworms in the bedroom that I was renting. I don't want to get into that right now. But anyways, I decided, hey, what's the next kind of booming market? And it was New Mexico. And at the time, I knew a lot of actors from Colorado who were represented in Albuquerque, and they were traveling back and forth for auditions. And yes, people do that. They will drive, oh my gosh, it's like 6.5, 7 hours one way just to go to auditions and then come back. And there have been people who will stop in the middle of their trip because they get a call back, drive all the way back. It's not a sustainable solution. Let me tell you, even though it's I-25 pretty much the whole way, conditions can be really scary during winter season, and winter season is pretty bipolar, especially in Colorado. And you'll have like a stretch of area, it always happens, people know, starting around Monument and Colorado Springs, where the conditions can get crazy. You'll have black ice, and then you'll have, outside of that, deer and other, just critters running around, and it's not safe. And think about it, driving, being tired, sleep deprived, that can make for a really scary situation to happen. And it's bad enough that there are a lot of crew members and background actors especially who are so tired behind the wheel that there have been accidents that happen that have led to deaths. And to me, that's such a shame. But anyways, I decided to move because if I kept staying in Denver in my comfort zone with my little group of friends, my bubble, my cozy little loft in the tattered cover building, I miss it so much, in downtown Denver, with my family close by, with just all this comfort, I was never gonna get anywhere. And so I decided, I don't come from money. I decided that I needed to leave to build something for myself. Just like my parents did when they left Mexico and came to the US. And to me, that is the equivalent of the American dream. They made it. They made it. Forgot what I was talking about. What is it like living in specifically Albuquerque, New Mexico as an actor? And if you're not an actor or a creative, and if you're just curious about what it's like living here, keep on watching. So here are my pros and cons of living in Albuquerque, New Mexico as an actor. Number 1, it's freaking cheap. Housing, groceries, car insurance, car maintenance stuff, going out, it's relatively cheap compared to other cities. I compare it always to Denver because that's where I'm from. But for example, when my boyfriend and I moved, we're deciding and we're researching to move down here, we were looking for any job down here. And he was a chef at the time. So he ended up getting an interview at a restaurant, and we decided to go down there for the interview and stay a couple of days. We just rented a hotel room. And he interviewed, he ended up getting the job. He asked to get just like a letter just indicating his job and the offer and how much salary or whatever, all that information. And then while he was doing that, I started researching apartments and housing. We looked at a lot of apartments. Initial reaction to a lot of them is, we didn't really, they were not, it's gonna make me sound a little bit bougie, I guess, I don't know. But they were not up to the standards that we were used to. And mind you, we had a really nice loft in downtown, so that was really nice. But, sacrifices, we ended up getting really lucky and finding actually this apartment that we're still in. And so this apartment, we ended up getting it for a really good deal. 2-bedroom, washer and dryer, parking, gated community for $7.22 a month, and the security deposit was only $250. It was a steal. So we got it. It was relatively easy. Another pro, as I mentioned, groceries are like 25%, and I don't know where I'm pulling that out of, but I think I read it somewhere, cheaper than other markets. And you have a variety of choices. I mean, you have Whole Foods here, Sprouts, Trader Joe's, the Kroger brands. Here it's called Smith's, Albertsons, Costco, Sam's Club, Target, Walmart, Mexican grocery stores, El Super, Mercado something, I don't even know, but I freaking love my Mexican grocery stores because I'm Mexican and you will find the cheapest produce. Beans, gotta have my beans. I'm not really a candy person, but you know, it's there. And like I said, it's pretty cheap. Car insurance, pretty cheap. Car maintenance, pretty cheap. Changing your oil, getting tires, buying a car. I'm not sure about right now during this time, but overall, it is cheaper. But with that, some of the cons is New Mexico has a really high unemployment rate. New Mexico has a really high unemployment. Is that the right way to say it? Yes. So if you're not in government, or I think it's oil and gas, I can't think of, maybe transportation, like the train or trucking. I don't really know. I'm not an expert on that. It's kind of difficult getting a nice paying job, but if you do have a bachelor's degree or any sort of, degrees, you may have a better time securing a job, but you just have to be specific about what type of industry that's gonna be. Tech isn't very big here, although there are, it's growing. But as an actor, gosh, what do? There's the traditional service industry jobs. Temp agencies, forget about it. I tried sending my resume to a so-called temp agency when I first got here, and I never heard back from them. I would call them and leave messages, probably for like a month. Never heard back. I signed up for the delivery services, DoorDash, Grubhub, and a little thing called Shipt and Instacart. Little did I know, though, that the gig economy was super new to New Mexico. Lyft and Uber, and still, to this day, are not a very in-demand service. It's gotten better, but 3 years ago, where was I? Yes, the gig economy didn't really exist. Like, what the hell? What am I supposed to do? I remember that first month, it was a culture shock. I was so used to having, and this is not to be glorified, but you know how it is. I was used to having like 3-4 jobs at a time in Denver. Bartending, serving, a little thing called Jive, nannying, always auditioning and booking commercials and industrial jobs and print jobs. That actually sustained me a lot. So being here, even though it was super cheap, still, it's like, I gotta survive, I gotta pay my bills, I gotta start saving, I gotta get into all these acting classes, gotta get new headshots. Actually, at the time, I think I had new headshots, but I don't remember what happened. Gotta prepare for all these business expenses related to acting. So after not really being successful in the little gig economy, I turned to my entrepreneur creative ideas and started a cleaning company. I had one back in Colorado, and I come from a hospitality industry family. Fancy for saying, I did housekeeping since I was freaking 12. I don't know. Let's be real. Before that, my Mexican mom put me to work in her house. But anyways, I realized that you couldn't charge as much because it's a different market. But I had clients. They need that service. And I also realized that New Mexico, even though it's like high unemployment, there are a lot of entrepreneurs here. There are a lot of people who start their own businesses. And I find that to be amazing. All for it. I'm a capitalist. Sorry, not sorry. But I am a child of immigrants. But you know, at the end of the day, everything kind of balances out. The cost of living, the rent, the food, utilities, they're a little bit on the higher side. The low pay, it kind of balances out. So I think it works. Pro, everything is really close by. And what I mean by that is that everything is within like a 15-minute drive, including the airport. Mind you, it is smaller, but there is an airport. And there's not really traffic associated with it. Yes, there's traffic, but it doesn't compare to other cities. Oh my gosh, Denver, LA. I can't really speak for the other bigger cities because I don't really remember. Whoa. Yeah, everything is close by. You can always find parking, even in downtown. Cute little downtown. There's parking everywhere. Like, what the heck? Like, oh my god. Like, oh my god. I know. However, you need a car. You need a car to survive here. Transportation is not very good. In fact, there was a war with our transportation buses, the art buses, and drivers. Why? Because drivers here suck. Drivers here are awful.
Oh my god!
You'll be going 80 on 75 because that's the speed limit on most of I-25, which runs through here. Somebody will be riding your ass. You'll move over, they'll pass you, they'll be going like 90 or more. Cops? I think that they have other issues to take care of. Turn signals don't exist. It's pretty bad. So many accidents. And I think I've seen more and more as the population has grown here in Albuquerque. If you're used to being in a walkable city, like I was, good luck. Albuquerque is laid out like a giant suburb. It's full of outlet malls, if that makes sense. And it's so spread out. Like, you can't walk anywhere. If you do, you kind of risk getting ran over or something happening. And you don't want to. Could you have a bike? No. Hear me out. If you live near UNM or in Nob Hill, which is pretty central, then yes, it makes sense to get a bike because you're close enough to coffee shops or, you know, grocery stores or whatever. But if you're an actor here, eventually you're gonna have to get around to different auditions, go to the store, go to the mall to pick up, you know, necessities, business-related stuff, outfits. And you can't do that with a bike. Imagine just showing up all sweaty to an audition. Mind you, the really good thing about this time are the self-tapes and the Zoom callbacks. We always knew that could be done, but for some reason, nobody wanted it. Well, ha, joke's on you. Not really, but it's true. So, no, I wouldn't really recommend a bike. Albuquerque just isn't very walkable. It's not. As well, Lyft and Uber, oh gosh. There's an issue with Lyft and Uber, and if you are a Lyft or Uber or both, if you do that as a side gig, please come here. Like, you would make so much money. There's a high demand for it, but not enough drivers. If you want to get to downtown or any other place around here during the day, you don't seem to have much of an issue, but it's at nighttime, and it's specifically during the week. I don't know so much about the weekend. It could also be the case, and I hope it changes, but like, you can't, I'm serious, you can't really get a ride. I had a situation with two friends who were stuck in downtown at like 10 p.m. on a Monday night, and they had to call me and I had to go pick them up. Also, you don't want to be stuck in downtown as a woman at 10 p.m. It's not ideal. Let's talk about some fun stuff. There are some really great up-and-coming breweries, and breweries who've, you know, just been here in general. Food trucks. The nightlife is really cool. There's some art walks, really cool coffee shops, although they don't have the best Wi-Fi. I don't know why that's an issue, but it is. There are the coolest dive bars, and I swear, every single place has amazing karaoke talent and just spots in general. I love karaoke. And the beer, Colorado folks, you're gonna hate me for this, I know, and I'm telling you, I'm a native. The beer here is really good. It's like, no joke, good. I don't know where that is. And the chili. That's also a debate that Colorado and New Mexico have a lot. And I'm so sorry, but I have to be honest with you. The chili here is amazing. Breakfast burritos are amazing. We have really cool spots. One of them called 505 Central Food Hall, and the other one is the Sawmill Market. Both pretty close to downtown and Old Town. And they are restaurants and coffee shops and, you know, different establishments inside of it. Is really good. Best breakfast burritos, really cheap. Best beer, really good breweries, food trucks, nightlife, really cool and quirky bars, really good old school hip hop, and really awesome like reggaeton music. If you're someone who's like huge into the salsa and, you know, the Latin dance scene, you'll find that here too. I love it. Let's talk about the desert. Not for everybody. And let me tell you, I still have a hard time getting used to it. The desert will either break or make you here. I'm not kidding. First of all, it is really dry here, as what is the case with deserts. I was not used to wearing sunblock. Bad Nora. I was not used to wearing sunblock or hydrating that much, and let me tell you, if you do that shit here, it's gonna show. It did for me until I had to turn my life choices around, and thank you, Mama Michaela, for being highly critical of my skin, and it really did help because I'm an actor. But yeah, it's really dry here. You will have skin issues. There are a lot of bugs here. A lot of the buildings are pretty old, so more than likely you're gonna have roaches in your apartment or house. It doesn't matter how clean you are. It just is. If you live closer to the mountains or, you know, on the west side, it's normal to see rattlesnakes, snakes, spiders, and other critters and insects. It's very common. The heat. I want to say that from June to August, maybe, it's the hottest season. It's the hottest time to be here in Albuquerque. Definitely over 100, 110, I don't know, like it's just so normal. It's intense. The good part about that though is that you will feel like you're living in fall for the rest of the year. I feel like it gets pretty chilly during the winter, so right now it's like in the 30s or something. It'll be like in the 50s. I'm used to negative, 18, negative 20 degrees being from Colorado and being from a small mountain town. It won't get to that here. And if you do have snow, it'll be like once or twice in the year, 1 inch. It's cute. And it'll melt by noon. it is nice to see that because I do miss the snow. But if you're somebody that just hates driving in the snow, and that, hey, that is understandable, then you will really like being here. And it's really nice because when it does snow, people here don't like to drive, so they'll stay at home. They'll have snow days at work, at school. It's hilarious, but it's nice because maybe that's the time where you get to go to the store because traffic isn't that bad or crazy drivers are not on the road. That's not the case when it rains though. People are even crazier. Let's talk about the wonderful people of New Mexico, of Albuquerque, my people. Well, if you will allow me to be part of your group, thank you. I love the fact that being Mexican, I just feel like I fit in. Everybody is pretty Hispanic here. It's pretty equal in terms of, Hispanic population. Hispanic population here is huge. It's New Mexico. And with that, you get the holidays, the festivities, the family-oriented values, the community aspect, and I feel like it bleeds into the acting community as well because, and maybe it's because actors here just have so many opportunities and they're used to that. There isn't a lot of nasty competition as other markets, Denver, has. That's really refreshing. People are more willing to help you out, accept you into their community, celebrate the holidays with you if you're alone. They're very genuine and kind and authentic, and I'm all for that. People are tough here. I mean, it's no surprise that this is one of the fighting capitals of the world. You have UFC fighters living and training here. It's a huge fight culture, not just entertainment or industry-wise, but just like in the culture. Yes, you have crime, and I think that you have, theft, cars especially. And yes, you'll wake up a couple of times during the week and hear gunshots, but I feel like I experienced more and saw more crime in Denver than I have here. And maybe it's because I know that you have to lock your car, don't leave your keys in your car, don't leave valuables out, in open sight. Don't walk alone at night. Don't, just be cautious of your surroundings. I know that. And I'm not gonna pretend like there isn't crime. And a lot of that has to do with just how close the border is and everything that has to do with that. But overall, I feel fine here. I feel great. There is a very slow-paced mentality here that can either be a con or a pro for you. If you're somebody who's used to just going and go and fast-paced and hustle, and you're gonna drive yourself nuts here, it's probably not gonna be for you. If you're somebody who's used to that way of life, then great. It's gonna be great for you. But I will say that anything from banks to restaurants, the DMV, which is called the NVD here, any type of government office, they run on mañana time, so tomorrow time. You can leave it for tomorrow, leave it for mañana. It's very laid back. Even the customer service, it's pretty slow paced. I would have to rate it like a 3 out of 10, just because I'm used to the hustle and bustle and customer service from Colorado. As an actor, if you're just starting out, this is a great place for you to build your experience being on set, being background for some incredible feature films or TV shows, getting represented by some awesome agencies here, getting to network with casting, getting to build your community because it's so accessible. I've had more opportunities here than I probably would have starting out in LA. I feel like I've kind of skipped a couple of steps being here, and I want to take advantage of that. And I think people who move here as actors with that mentality, they can do that as well. And I'm incredibly lucky to be represented here and also represented in Colorado and have the ability to travel back and forth to do a lot of acting. It's great. If you're a filmmaker, I think this has been named the #1 place to live for filmmakers. I don't know how many years in a row, but it's awesome. The tax incentives, I couldn't tell you the details on them, but they are pretty great, and that's what keeps productions coming here more and more. It's pretty normal to see, you know, celebrities in a Whole Foods or at a restaurant or whatever. It's pretty normal. So that's awesome. You're more likely to form more authentic friendships here with other creatives and actually feel like you have a sense of community and are able to collaborate with them versus other places that may seem more disingenuous. That makes sense. On the flip side, on the con side, while there are more and more productions coming here, a lot of them, I would say probably most of them, already have their lead and supporting actors cast and with them from LA and other major markets. So that leaves little to no roles for New Mexico actors, and I just think that's a shame. It's pretty hard to find an acting class here that, how do I say this? Coming from Denver and the training that I had there, it's been hard to find something here that creates the same environment for you to train. Yes, there are workshops and there are classes, but they're not to the level of LA or even Denver. And that's also true for finding photographers to do your headshots. A lot of actors will just go to LA, or some of them will go back to Colorado and have their headshots done and also take classes over there. Hey, if you are an acting teacher, I think it's a really great time for you to set up an acting class business here. And I know it's a little different right now because a lot of people are doing Zoom classes, but in the future, I mean, that could be a huge opportunity, as well as if you're a photographer who's specializing in headshots. I guess that's all I can think of right now, or that I have on my list. I'm sure that there are other pros and cons that I'll probably think of and maybe make a video later on. And if you can think of any other topics or ideas, I would love to know, and you can comment, send me an email. If you're a local New Mexican and you disagreed or agreed with what I was saying, hey, it's my opinion and these are my experiences. You can't take that away from me. But yeah, I mean, overall, I really enjoy living in New Mexico. Obviously, I miss Colorado. It's my home, but I really enjoy being here. I am so grateful for the desert really testing me as a person and not breaking me. There were a couple of times where I thought, maybe this isn't the place for me. It would have been so easy to just go back, and I'm so glad that I didn't, because I was able to get so many incredible opportunities from being here. I got a really awesome grant from the state of New Mexico's film department to do training to become an intimacy coordinator. But that was incredible. As well, like I mentioned, just being able to audition for parts that I never would have in a million years had the opportunity or even dreamed of. Meeting incredible people, incredible, other creatives, other actors, entrepreneurs, the friends that I have made, the money that I've saved. It's been awesome. The desert really is magical, and it will test you, and it will confront you with your demons. Be ready for that if you decide to come here. And I'm just really excited to see how New Mexico will grow in the next couple of years, the next 5 years, because it's already growing. A lot of people are moving here, not just for acting, although that is something that's been happening, but just people in other professions. The standard of living that I've been able to have here has been remarkable. Yeah, I'm excited for you to decide if that is something that you want to explore. And I say, go for it. If you've been thinking about it, you've been doing research, go for it. What's the worst that can happen? Oh, you get experience. you get an agent, you get to be on a show or a movie, and then you move to a bigger market. Like, ooh, okay. But anyways, thank you so much for tuning in to this very spectacular and educational and inspirational video. And I hope you come back, subscribe, continue to watch other videos that I post about the industry, but I'm also going to post about my life here, and also personal finance videos that I think anybody can benefit from. So with that, I will let you go, and I will see you later. I mean, you'll see me, hopefully. Okay, bye.